Well, a world-first social experiment has revealed a side to the pandemic mental health crisis unfolding in front of our very eyes. In the lead up to World Mental Health Day, a groundbreaking digital awareness campaign called Background Blindspot have proven just how easy it is to overlook the clues that someone is not coping. 9 volunteers working remotely slowly showed signs of change in their behaviour, environment and physical appearance, from empty pizza boxes to dishevelled hair to weary faces, and the results were alarming.
After 5 days, 180 hours of video calls and 84 participants, no one picked up on the signs, commented or reached out. Virtual meetings have skyrocketed over the past 2 years. So, with screen time fatigue well and truly set in, how can we recognise the red flags someone is suffering in plain sight?
Now, psychologist Sabina was part of the program. She joins us now from Melbourne. Great to see you, Sabina. Performix Mercerbell created the experiment in conjunction with Microsoft Advertising and Are You OK, supporting the project too. So talk us through what you found.
Hi, Kylie. Hi, Matt. So this is absolutely fascinating. As you said, 180 hours over 5 days with our volunteers, and they change parts of their demeanour, parts of their behaviour, parts of the way they express themselves, and of course parts of their background. But not one person reached out to any of our volunteers, commented, inquired, or was curious about any of the changes that they observed during the week-long experiment.
I mean, did that surprise you that no one noticed any changes, or is it more complex than a set of red flags to look out for?
I think it's both, Matt. It is concerning, and it's surprising that no one even commented, even if they didn't have the so-called right thing to say. They didn't even inquire. But you're absolutely right. There's no clear set of red flags here. So if there was a neat shopping list, we'd all be able to attend to the needs of others more simply. But we're more nuanced and complex than that. And so what we need to do here is be aware, be familiar, be in tune with our friends and our colleagues, typical behaviour. And what we're really looking for here is a change. So if someone is typically very quiet and they continue to be quiet, well, that's probably how they are, and there's no change, there's no need for inquiry. But if someone's been very outspoken or very confident and suddenly appears more withdrawn, if someone has always had a very neat and clean background and suddenly it's clutter-filled, we're looking for these kinds of changes from what their typical baseline is to what might have changed over the course of time, which could be an indicator that something's not well.
But it might just be that people are polite too, Sabina. They could be concerned, but like, you're not going to point out, geez, your place looks a mess behind you. Like, people might just be polite.
That's right, Kylie. Of course, we all have manners. But if we feel like we need to be too polite, if we feel like other people's well-being and their mental health is not our business, then we're missing an opportunity to connect, because it's these day-to-day moments. We don't need to be a mental health professional in order to support someone, or at least let them know that we care. And if we can stick to the tangible changes, then hopefully it's not rude, or poor manners.
Yeah, sure. And we're looking at some digital fatigue signs here. So we had this sort of sense that everyone's looking at it, silence becomes awkward, lack of mobility. Take us through some of these.
Well, being on screen all the time requires so much more attention for our brains to process non-verbal cues compared to when we're face-to-face. We do have this sense that everyone's looking at us that can make us feel very self-aware and self-conscious. And with silence, in our normal day-to-day exchanges, silence is a really typical and normal part of our exchanges. But now when we're online, it feels like a silence is not permissible, and so everyone has to kind of speak. Yeah. It just requires a lot more energy and attention.
Sabina, the other thing is we're looking at ourselves more as well. We don't go to the office and have a conversation with someone and have our own face and reactions right there in front of us. There's something called Zoom dysmorphia. Tell us about that.
As you said, Matt, we are now spending hours and hours of our time and looking at ourselves, which means we're becoming very acutely aware of our appearance, the way we speak, our weight, our hair. And for those of us who have never been used to seeing ourselves on screen, this can lead to a sense of self-consciousness, self-loathing, avoidant behaviour, withdrawal, anxiety. Yes, it's something that reality TV stars have known for a long time, but I think for the average punter, it can be actually quite distressing and quite confronting to see what we look like on screen all day, every day.
Yeah, especially when the hairdressers have been closed for months, right? Like,
that's right. Well, I'm in Melbourne.
Another layer. It is World Mental Health Day on Sunday. We know many people are struggling at the moment. How can we overcome? What can we do about this digital fatigue?
I think we need to bring home the message that mental health is everyone's business. We don't need to leave it to the experts. So reach out to friends, observe that, as I said, stick to tangible behaviour changes that you've noticed, and then inquire, are you okay? You don't need to have the answers in order to speak up, but something that we can do, we're looking now at the screen here to look after our own wellbeing, is mix up our camera use, turn our cameras off, or at least turn our self-view off. Limit video calls to 40 minutes and be the change that you want to see here. You know, say at the end of 40 minutes, I think that's probably enough for all of us. What about picking up our telephone, that old-fashioned device that we used for so many years, instead of trying a video call, or try walking meetings? And then, of course, if you're sitting on a screen all day, every day, it's really important to vary your gaze. So you're looking close at the screen, but then you're looking into the distance and maybe hopefully into something green or nature-based, at least out a window.
Sabina, it's been great to hear and understand, I guess, a little bit more about how we are behaving in a social environment where essentially we're not social anymore, and it's been happening over the last 2 years. So thank you. I mean, just before I let you go, what's the best way we can help, if there is one quick tip?
I think it's to know that you don't need to have the answers, but to reach out and say, can I help facilitate next steps for you? And my other favourite question to ask people is, what has been helpful to you in the past when you have felt this way before? And that's encouraging their own sense of agency, their own sense of knowing, as opposed to thinking that you have the answers that they don't.
Yeah, good stuff. Sabina, always great to chat to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So for more, we'll let you get off your Zoom now. For more information on background blind spot, you can head to our website. We'll point you in the right direction.